What if your anger wasn't a problem to fix, but a child to protect? When the red tide rises, you don't need to be quieter. You need to be safer. Come, be held while we learn the mother's way. My name is Kayla, and this is Maiden Mother Crone Tarot, where we hold sacred space for divine divergence, also known as ADHD. Today's tarot topic is not a monster, a messenger, mothering yourself through the storm. Before we begin, I'd like us to go ahead and ground into this energy, ground into this moment, ground into now. We are going to do a box breathing exercise where we breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and hold for 4. We will do 3 rounds of this breathing to help us clear the rest of the day off of us, reset our nervous system, and scan our bodies and pay attention to where we're holding our tension and our stress. All right, I'd like to invite you to join me. Are you ready? Begin. Thank you so much. How do you feel in this moment? Did you notice the tension leave your shoulders like me? Did you feel the space between your shoulder blades expand? Is there anywhere else you're carrying tension tonight? Really scan your body and see if there's anything else left. Today's topic is about ADHD rage. It is something that has caused me a lot of shame, a lot of regret, and a lot of pain throughout the course of my life. I talk about it in my book as the monster that I was afraid of, that I was terrified of, that I was ashamed of. And I never understood that my rage was really just a messenger trying to tell me that my body felt unsafe, that I was stuck in fight or flight mode, that I was overwhelmed, overstimulated, and needed somewhere safe, quiet, and calm. Today, I want to introduce a method to help yourself when you feel the rage rise, to help mother yourself through. And it is called the mother method. So, the first step when you feel the anger surging through your body is to map the moment. Name what's happening. You can say, my body is surging, but I am safe enough to pause. It all comes down to conscious awareness. It comes down to mindfulness. I've been talking about us checking in with our bodies more often. And whenever it comes to rage, this is critical. You will feel your chest tighten. You will feel heat creeping up your neck. You'll feel your shoulders tense. And we have to take a moment to step back and name that tension, name that anger, name that fear. It's really fear, right? Fear of the overwhelm, fear of not being safe, fear of being taken out of an environment where it was quiet and calm and you were regulated. The next step, after we identify it, notice that's what's going on. And, unfortunately, it may be after you've already snapped when you're able to say, oh no, I've lost it. And if that's the case, okay, don't judge yourself. Move to the next step, which is offer oxygen. Begin doing slow breathing exercises. You can do the box breathing that we did, or you could do a Inhale for 6, hold for 2, exhale for 8. The biggest thing here is you want to exhale longer than you inhale. Okay? And you don't want to inhale shortly. So 5 and 6, 6 and 7, 6 and 8, whatever it is. The longer you exhale, the more you will calm down. You can also try gentle hums or taking a sip of water. Okay? Humming creates a vibration in our body. It's just like being rocked by our mothers, being soothed in the womb. It's phenomenal for regulating your nervous system. The next step is going to be tea. Tend the body, right? Use pressure points. Give yourself a hug. You can rock. You can sway. Let your body move, right? Tend the body by tapping into the senses. Use cold water. Splash it on your face. Rub an ice cube on your wrist. Put your feet on the cold floor. Or step outside and use Mother Nature to help you co-regulate. In my book, I talked about how much grounding has been beneficial for me and my family. Go outside and put your feet in the grass, on the dirt, touch a tree, sit against a tree, and then continue other steps, doing the slow breath. The next step is H. Hold a boundary. Buy time. And if you decide to go co-regulate with Earth, you might need to do this step before walking outside. It would just kind of help with the flow and communication and people not feeling abandoned, understanding what's going on. But say something like, I love you, but I need 10 minutes to come back regulated. Or you could say something like, I want to respond, not react to you. I'll rejoin after I take a break. I'll rejoin after I reset. Right? Communication is key, especially if you catch this early before the snap happens. People aren't going to know what's going on. So if you just walk out, it's going to cause a lot of confusion, and that could cause that conflict to happen wherever you, like if they chase you, so communicate as much as you can. So we've gone through M-O-T-H. Next letter is E. You're going to express safely. Express your anger. Don't repress your anger. Express it. You could journal, write a 90-second rage letter. Don't hold anything back. And obviously don't send it. And then you could rip it up, right? That's a great exercise when you're angry. You could crumple it up, throw it in the trash can, right? You can also do this on your phone. Put it in your notes, right? Stomp on something, a pillow, squeeze a towel, wring it out. Oh. My favorite thing when I'm upset is to shake it out. Oh. Right? You might look a little unhinged, but to me, I feel it leave my body immediately. I feel it. It gets the tension out. It works it out. So that's the best practice for myself personally. So we've made it through almost all of the letters. Now, the last thing to do when you're in this ADHD rage is to repair and rewire. So after the anger has gone through you, we're going to reflect on how we could have prevented it, on how we handled the situation, and we're going to choose one tiny thing to change, right? So if you had a problem with somebody else, you're going to want to repair that, right? So one thing to do is name the impact you had. What was your impact on them? My tone was sharp. I sounded hateful. I was not patient, right? Then we're going to validate our own needs, right? I was overwhelmed and needed quiet. I was all touched out and needed space. Then we're going to offer a plan. We're going to say, next time I'll take 10 minutes and come back. Next time I'll ask for your help before I get overstimulated. Next time I'll put on my mommy stressed out hat so all the kids can see that I'm wearing it, and we'll quiet. And then lastly, you want to invite safety. You want to reconnect with that person, that situation. And you can ask yourself this as well. You're going to say, is there anything you need right now? Whether that's the child that was stressing you out, your partner, or is it yourself? Do you still need something? It's okay if you do. So you can use this mother method, right, to help you mother yourself through these ADHD rages. Throughout this, also, this isn't an exercise to judge yourself. It's an exercise to be your mother, to calm you down. So you want to have self-compassion. When you're talking to yourself, you want to use kindness. You want to use compassion and say, nothing is wrong with me. Something is loud in me. And that means I need to get quiet so I can hear it, right? I need to listen to what my body is saying. Something like, I can hold both anger and my values, right? You care about your family. You don't want to hurt them. You don't want to snap. You don't want them to fear you. So take the time, hold the boundary, take a break, separate, get into a quiet space and do the activities needed to regulate yourself and bring you back in. So again, the two things that work best for me are shaking it out and humming. If you're like, one time we were coming home from a town that's about 45 minutes away, and it was late. It was my kids' bedtime, and we were leaving from dinner, and they were just all freaking out in the car. And you're in the car. Where are you going to go, right? So what I did was I started humming. And initially, my child that was freaking out the most started just getting louder. But then it got to the point where my humming not only was regulating me, but it started regulating her as well. So you can use these and just evaluate them and figure out which one is going to be the best for your situation, right? What's going to work best where you are right now. And please, if you have a special trick that you use to help back yourself down, regulate yourself, calm down, let me know in the comments. We're here to grow together, and I'm always looking for tools to help me regulate my emotional overwhelm. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our tarot message from the mother. First, we're going to do an animal oracle card. Mother, can you please give us guidance on ADHD rage? Not a monster, a messenger, mothering yourself through the storm, please. Mouse spirit, tend to the small things. You guys, this came out in one of my readings. I will try to link it in the replay for you guys if you're interested. And it was about this as well when you're overwhelmed. But tending to the small things. What did I just talk about? I was talking about how when we are stressed out, we need to try to have our conscious awareness and pay attention, right? Pay attention to the small buildup, the crescendo effect as that blast of energy works its way through your body. Now, this oracle deck is dedicated to the mother. It's used exclusively for her spiritual energy. Mother, can you please give us guidance on ADHD rage? Not a monster, a messenger. Mothering yourself through the storm. How can we learn to quiet, to soften, to hold ourselves with compassion and care so that we can be an example to those that we love. An example of sacred acceptance in honoring our needs. All right, the first card we got is Sun, healing energy, happiness, and comfort. So immediately I'm brought back to last night's message where I talked about the sun extensively. I will link it for you in the replay. Healing energy, comfort, and joy. There's a butterfly here that always speaks of transformation to me. But in last night's message, we were talking about gratitude, so that might be something we need to discuss in this. And then the next card is Summer, expansion and growth. And this has the sunflowers in it. Like another one of my readings I just did, the most recent one actually on Don't Fix Me, Just See Me. So I will link it as well. And then Rain, cleansing, purification, hydration. This actually came out in my pre-live shuffle when I was working with the energies. Cleansing, purification, hydration. That's a good point. We should really make sure that we're being hydrated, right? Because if you're not hydrated, your body is working harder to remain in homeostasis, right? And if that's the case, you're going to be more tired. And if you're more tired, you're more prone to being irritable. And if you're ADHD guidance, please, Mother, on the sacred messenger, not the monster, the rage that comes. How can we mother ourselves through the storm, please? The first card that already popped out was the Seven of Pentacles. And it has a lemon tree on it, so I'm being reminded of like sourness. Of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Three of Cups. Okay, well, lots of cups energy. The Page of Wands and the Nine of Wands on the bottom of the deck. So this makes sense. This Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior carrying on even when things are really heavy. So ADHD rage is something that can cause a lot of shame and grief and regret in your life. So if you've been dealing with this for a while, then I'm sure that is very heavy and that you are ready to put it down. You are. And this energy is the energy of, you can do that. You can be the Nine of Wands. You do have that power here. Even though it is hard, even though it's difficult work, you can do it. So the first card again was the Seven of Pentacles. And as I was saying, I was drawn to these lemons. And it made me think of sourness. So that might be a great exercise also. Food, it's one of your senses. You could take a lemon and suck on a lemon to kind of like, ooh, surprise you. Maybe you could put some warhead candies in your purse, carry it with you just to help bring you back. I know that it's a great exercise for anxiety to help bring you back down. The Seven of Pentacles is about evaluation of what you're investing in. So in the context of this reading, the mother is telling us we really need to step back and see, in this moment of overwhelm and anger and rage, in this ADHD berserk, what are you tending to that is causing it, right? It's often when we're overextending ourselves, we're over pouring into other people. She's pouring into this tree here. When we're overextending and pouring into others instead of ourselves, this happens. But then we have the Knight of Cups, right? Traditionally knights serve the king, right? They're out doing the king's work. They're on a mission. But the King of Cups, or the Knight of Cups, is caring, empathetic, loving, and understanding. And so how can we embody this energy, as I was talking about before, where we're being compassionate to ourselves, where we're speaking with love, where we're saying, I can have this anger and this loudness while also being a good person with a large heart that wants to do the best thing? How can we maintain that energy so that we can reach the Queen of Cups state, where we are secure and stable and have come back and are regulated and are no longer being controlled, are no longer this puppet that our emotions are using to control our body? when we're sovereign in our own ability to regulate, right? Because when we can do that, then we can also teach our children, we can teach our friends, we can hold compassionate space for them to help them learn how to do this as well. And then we can all support each other with this Three of Cups. We can all support each other together. We can celebrate in a community where we understand the struggles, where we understand how hard this is with the Nine of Wands, how heavy this weight has been, how it has shaped the way we believe we're not worthy because of this monster that's been inside of us all this time. But really, it was just your inner child that was terrified, waiting for you to put it somewhere safe. Put yourself somewhere safe. Page of Wands is all about inspired action. Pages are students, so here I love this card because it highlights her ear. And it's like you're listening to your inner child. You're listening to the messages of this anger. You're listening to what it is that your body is trying to tell you, right? The flutters, the flushes, the tension. You're listening so that we can expand out of this Knight of Wands, out of this heaviness, this wounded warrior energy, and have this healing, right? This healing through cleansing. Maybe you really need to cry. Maybe the reason you keep having these rage attacks, these rage moments, is because you've repressed and suppressed so many emotions that they have to get out. And anytime something happens, it's just a ticking, ticking time bomb, waiting to explode because you haven't given it space to breathe. You haven't given it space to express. But with this Queen of Cups and this Three of Cups, that's not going to be the story for us anymore. We are going to tend to the small things, and we're going to listen to our bodies. We're going to mother ourselves. We are going to be conscious, be aware, bring the patience and the compassion and care. And we're going to heal this cycle and elevate to the next karmic cycle and not be stuck in this loop. Sending love and light to anyone that is open to receive it. Mother, thank you so much for your guidance. Thank you for the clarity here, the emotional strength that we can tap into when we slow down, we hold ourselves with tenderness and care, when we rock, when we sway, when we understand there's nothing wrong with taking a break and regulating our emotions. And thank you so much for being here. Every time you join me on these lives or watch the replays, you're showing up for yourself. You're listening to spirit. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to your soul so that you can implement all of the advice we've been given to live our best lives. I want to remind you in this channel, come as you are and stay as you become. Bye, my friends.